When I was growing up, my father had one rule that he repeated almost every day. If you kill it, you eat it. At first, it sounded like one of those old-fashioned lessons about respecting life. But my father didn't believe in mercy. He believed in punishment. The first time I remember it happening, I was only 3 years old. I was outside in our backyard, stomping on a trail of ants just because I thought it was funny. My father noticed from the porch. "Pick them up," he said calmly. "Now eat them." I froze. When I refused, he grabbed my wrist, scooped up the crushed ants, and forced them into my mouth. I cried so hard that I threw up a few minutes later. He never apologized. A year later, I was sitting on the front steps pulling the wings off flies. My father walked over, looked at the insects scattered around my feet, and said, "Every one of those is your responsibility." I begged him not to make me do it. He ignored my tears, picked up one of the flies, and made me swallow it. For weeks afterward, every strange feeling in my stomach convinced me the fly was still alive inside me. By the time I turned 6, I had built a toy bow from sticks and string. I spent hours pretending to be an explorer in the woods behind our house. One afternoon, I released an arrow without looking. A small bird dropped from the sky and landed in the grass. I stood there horrified. Then I heard my father's voice from the kitchen window. "Bring it inside." He showed me exactly how to prepare the bird. He removed the feathers, cleaned it, and cooked it while I stood there watching in silence. When dinner was ready, he placed the tiny roasted bird in front of me. It looked like a miniature chicken. "Finish every bite," he said. I cried through the entire meal. He watched until the plate was empty. Despite everything, there were moments when he almost seemed like a normal father. On my 8th birthday, he surprised me with a golden retriever puppy. For a few months, it was the happiest I'd ever been. The dog followed me everywhere. It slept beside my bed every night. For the first time in my life, I felt like I had a real friend. One Saturday morning, my father decided it was time to teach me how to drive. I climbed onto his lap behind the wheel while we backed slowly out of the driveway. Then I heard a sickening crunch. The car stopped. When I climbed out, my puppy was lying behind the rear tire. Everything inside me shattered. My father looked down at the animal without showing the slightest emotion. "You know the rule," he said. I shook my head. "No, please." He bent down to pick up the dog. I ran. I spent 2 days hiding in the woods behind our town. I slept under trees, drank from a small creek, and survived on wild berries. I was terrified of going home. But eventually, hunger became stronger than fear. Late on the 3rd night, I climbed through the kitchen window. The house was dark. I quietly opened the refrigerator, hoping to steal something before anyone noticed. Then my father's voice came from behind me. "Your dinner is waiting." The lights snapped on. Sitting in the middle of the dining table was my dog. Perfectly roasted. An apple rested between its teeth. I turned toward the window, but my father caught me before I could escape. He forced me into a chair. No matter how loudly I cried or begged, he never stopped. Piece after piece landed on my plate. He didn't let me leave until every bite was gone. That night, something inside me finally broke. I realized I would never survive if I stayed in that house. A few mornings later, long before sunrise, I packed a backpack and quietly opened my bedroom door. The hallway was dark. At the top of the staircase stood my father. He smiled. running away? My heart stopped. I tried to push past him. Instead, we slammed into each other. He stumbled backward. For one impossible second, time seemed to freeze. I reached for him. But my fingers never touched his arm. He fell down the staircase, striking every step before crashing onto the hardwood floor below. I rushed downstairs. He wasn't moving. His neck was bent at an unnatural angle. His empty eyes stared straight at the ceiling. I collapsed beside him and cried harder than I ever had before. Then I remembered the rule he had forced me to live by my entire childhood. If you kill it, you eat it. Still crying, I walked into the kitchen. I turned on the oven. Then I headed out to the tool shed to get the axe.